Hey everybody, this is TF Now. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Flashpoint Batman. So this is my first review of 2021. Let's bring in a new year with a pretty good looking figure here. This is the Target exclusive Flashpoint Batman that a lot of people have been anticipating because we don't really get that many Flashpoint Batmans in figure form if they're not customs, of course. So it's really cool that McFarlane Toys is actually making a Flashpoint Batman, a Thomas Wayne Batman. Even though the DC Multiverse line so far has just way too many abundant Batman characters and stories that they're focusing on, this particular character, it's cool to have in figure form. The only downside with me, at least, is that I mostly collect 6-inch figures, and it might be a little bit out of scale with most of the stuff I collect. But I do have 7-inch scale DC figures, of course. So let's just go ahead and take a look at the packaging. It's very standard with the McFarlane Toys DC line. You can see the figure in the box there. In the background, a lot of different comic art and panels, of course, in blue and whatnot. There's a card in the back there as well. Towards the bottom half here, it says DC Multiverse and Batman, and of course, it's at ages 12 and up. If we look at the top, actually, it does say 22 moving parts, so that's giving you the amount of articulation, of course. On this side here, it says DC Multiverse as well as Flashpoint Batman and McFarlane Toys. Very similar on the other side, just a little bit different looking. It says DC Multiverse, it says Batman and McFarlane Toys. On the back, it shows you really nice artwork of Flashpoint Batman, and that's basically what the card is also going to look like. I don't really feel like taking it out of the packaging because I feel it's going to ruin the packaging. And then you have towards the bottom there, it says collect them all, and it shows you what other characters they have so far. On the bottom, there's the barcode if you are looking for this in Target stores. There you go. Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at the figure. So here's the Flashpoint Batman figure out of the packaging, and overall it's a very solid figure. I think McFarlane Toys did a very good job with this figure. I do have a few issues though. Some not as big as others, and others are, I wouldn't say major, but there's definitely one pretty big nitpick about this figure I have. But let's go ahead and talk about the accessories that he comes with, and then we'll take a closer look at the figure. So this image here, you're just seeing some of the accessories that are pretty much glued onto the inside of the packaging. As you can see, it comes with a very basic circular black stand that has a little bit of a DC logo printed on there. It's also in black. There's two different types of blacks, if you can see on there, and it's kind of generic, but it has its purpose. It's really just meant to for the character to stand on it. It's not really supposed to be super flashy or anything, which is fine to me. And then the collectible card here, as you can see, which is again the same thing we saw on the back. So I'm keeping the packaging. I'm not going to be worried about throwing it away, so I'll just keep it in the box for now. Other than that, his actual two accessories are these really nice pistols. These are sculpted and painted fantastically. I really like them. They're kind of like Desert Eagles. They're like a mix of a Desert Eagle with something else. They're not entirely Desert Eagles, but they're just really cool. They have really nice silver dry brushing on them. They're both pretty much the same sculpt. So I'm just going to take a look at one real quick, get a better look at the handle. Lots of different parts on here. Sculpted like the safety, the trigger, the slide. It's in the grip too. It looks really good. There's actually a hole, as you can see, for the the muzzle right there. So if you have any possible effects pieces that can go into this, if it this hole is deep enough, I have no idea how deep it is, I haven't tested it. There you go. You could do some effects pieces with this. I do wish that this came with some effects pieces, but overall both of these are super sick. Pretty much when it comes to weapon storage, because we do get a holster, it's very simple. Just slide it into the side. Fits in there nice and snug. It's not going to fall out anytime soon. You can take it out as well. Just hold this and then pull it out right there, and it comes out just as easily as it goes in. So taking a closer look at this figure, there's definitely a lot of things to like here. First of all, the head sculpt's pretty well done. I really like this mean frown that they got going on here on the face, and the red eyes protrude very well. By protrude, I mean, they're piercing out to you. So they did a really good job capturing that. It's just very basic red in there, and it looks really good. Nice wrinkling around the eyebrows on the cowl, as you can see there. Nice short ears. I like how they painted the The facial hair, it could look a little better. Maybe some additional sculpting could have helped, but I think it looks good enough. I thought there was a black speck on the nose, but I think it's just a shadow. I don't think there's any mismatched paint on this. It looks really good. And on the back of the head there, it's just kind of a basic black sculpt, which is fine. There's a line going down there on the back of the neck. And there's some sculpting for the rest of the neck there. We have this soft plastic cape, as you can see here. Normally, I'm someone who, while McFarlane Toys does a pretty good job with their soft plastic capes, I usually just prefer, and this is other companies too, I prefer some cloth capes. But whatever these are, I don't want to say they're spikes, but they're definitely sticking up in this certain way. You know, it's very comic accurate. I don't think they could have captured that, or really anyone could have captured that with, you know, a soft plastic cape, at least not at the $20 range. So I can forgive it with this, and the wrinkles around here are really good. We do have a really nice bat logo, as you can see there. That's nicely sculpted. Like, it's physically sculpted. As you can see, it's just coming off the chest there. It's not like painted on there. It's actually really good. And then we have the circle underneath the sculpt there. Nice lines and wrinkles and muscles, as you can see throughout the upper body. We do have some nice lines that aren't super well sculpted like they are here. It looks a little soft in the sculpt in the arms, but that's just a very minor nitpick. I think there is some wrinkles sculpted in the joint right there, which is nice. Nice gauntlets. They're very big and they look kind of scratched up in certain areas, and they look just really good. And like some of the rivets going on there. These little pieces on the back. I never know what these are actually supposed to be called. If they're fangs or claws or something, let me know down in the comments if you know the correct term. I never bothered to learn. I wish I did. I just never knew. But we have these nice gloves that are also nicely sculpted. Really nice. As you can see, we have autofocus on here, so hopefully it's not too bad. But it's actually really nice sculpting on the knuckles. And the protruding index fingers. I do wish we got some fists. We really don't get alternate hands that much with McFarlane Toys. But it's fine. We do have nice pouches going on here. I really like how it looks. Just going around the figure there. They're nicely sculpted. There's just a very basic red mold. There's not really any paint, which is fine to me, honestly. Now moving on to the holsters, because I honestly thought these would be kind of a little too loosey-goosey, but I honestly kind of dig it because they, you know, you split out the legs and they actually move with the leg, unlike sometimes Black Series where, you know, it'll be stuck there and yeah, it will move up. But if you want to rotate the leg, it will be stuck. Now, you don't really have problems with rotating the leg on here because we still don't have upper thigh swivel for this guy. You could easily put it in here, Todd. Just saying. We'll talk about that in a second with the articulation, though. The actual straps right here are actually really well done. They have some nice buckles sculpted in there. I really like how the knee pads also were sculpted. They look really, really good. Overall, very solid. There's some nice lines going down here in the leg. You know, what the back look like? Let's see what that looks like. It's a little plain, but you're not going to be really paying attention to the back that much. It's not horrible, of course. When I say it's plain, it's just expected, you know. There's some nice scratches and scuffs on the shins of the boots, and they look really good. They're nicely pointed upwards, and the detail and sculpting is very well done. We have some ball joints here for the feet, which I'll talk about in a second because they're kind of weird. The boots are nice, though. The top looks a little plain, but I think that's supposed to be accurate, so I'm not complaining that much there. The side there has some more detail, as you can see right there, some nice lines. The bottom of the feet have really nice treading. These look really good. And then you can see the holes in the bottom of the feet, too. So, overall, it's a very solid-looking Flashpoint Batman. It hits all the right notes when it comes to what you want in your detail with a Flashpoint Batman. I'm going to do a quick 360, of course, and get a better look at the whole figure. I really need to buy, I say this a lot, I need to buy a rotating stand. Anyway, let's talk about the articulation. It's pretty basic with McFarlane Toys. You have a tilt in the ball joint of the head right there. You can go sort of back, sort of down. It's actually not too bad. And then side to side, of course, rotation. We do have butterfly joints that aren't the strongest because the cape gets in the way. The arms do go all the way around. They do go in and out. So you can see just that kind of range of motion. It's a little clicky clacky just because of how the joints are done. It's not too bad though. Upper thigh, I said thigh, upper arm swivel, double jointed elbows. The gauntlets, I think, get a little bit in the way of the sculpt, so the articulation's a little hindered, but not too bad. We have the McFarlane Toys wrist system there that we have with a few other toy lines. It swivels here, hinges, as you can see, so you can get some dynamic poses like in and out, and then swivel it, goes up and down. These feel kind of stiff and fragile, sadly. We do have a ball jointed waist up here, so you can swivel forward, back, side to side. Not the best range of motion for my particular figure, but it's still, the back's actually really good. And we have another ball joint here where the belt is. The swivel's not the greatest, but the forward and back, side to side is good enough. So you get actually a really nice range of motion when all this is combined. So that's good. Legs can go forward. This is a soft plastic piece where the crotch is. I think it's soft plastic. Actually, I know. I think that might. I can't tell. That's a hard sculpt. Never mind. But it still works fine. Legs, for some reason, don't really want to go forward or back that well. In and out. Again, we don't have very good upper thigh swivel, but I've seen people mod McFarlane Toys figures that have thigh swivel. So that's, if you could do that, you might as well mod this figure too. If you could do the thigh swivel mod. Double jointed knees are actually pretty good. We have an up and down and a swivel here, and then we do have an ankle rocker, and these also feel really stiff. It's actually really hard to get this guy in a neutral standing pose just because these things are kind of all over the place and very fragile. They're loose, but at the same time, it's just they feel like they can break. They feel kind of stiff, so it's kind of weird. I don't really like it. The toe hinge is pretty good. It's a little too extreme, but it can get some nice articulation out there. So yeah, some hiccups in the articulation, but overall pretty solid. So for size comparisons, as you can see here, this is a pretty tall Batman figure. I don't have another Bruce Wayne 7-inch Batman figure with me right now. I need to figure out what McFarlane Toys one I would like to get. Haven't gotten any yet. Mostly get DC Collectibles, well, when there was DC Collectibles. But as you can see on the right, we have the Mezco 112 Collective Sovereign Knight Batman, which is going to be shorter than this guy. And then on the left, we have the Hellbat, as you can see. So I actually do have a McFarlane Toys Batman, just not like a normal Batman, of course. But that one's pretty tall. I mean, even compared to the Thomas Wayne Batman in the middle, it's supposed to be a little bit taller. And then for some 6-inch figures, like on the right, we have a Marvel Legends Spider-Man from the Retro Collection. On the left, we have a Star Wars: The Black Series Flame Trooper or Incinerator Trooper. And yeah, they're pretty short compared to this guy. So overall, this figure is pretty well done. A few things I'm just not really that big of a fan of. Mostly the ankles and the wrists. They feel kind of stiff. I don't really like the articulation going on there. I mean, the articulation itself, it's fine, but on this particular figure, for some reason, it's just not really clicking with me. I just feel like it's too fragile and too flimsy at the same time. You know, it doesn't really make sense explaining it, but there's definitely something that I feel is up and not really right with the wrists and ankles. But besides the basic stuff with McFarlane Toys, like some of the sculpting looks a little soft, and the upper thigh swivel not being there at all when it clearly could have been. Is it really going to be that much expensive if you add an upper thigh swivel, really, Todd? The rest of the figure is really well done. Great sculpting throughout the whole figure. I really, really like the guns, like I said earlier. Decent articulation for the most part. Paint looks minimal in certain areas, but overall is pretty good when it's used. I feel like there is mostly, I mean, the gray I do believe is painted, but I think other areas, I think it's just mostly molded in that color, which I think is fine. I think it came out pretty well. Overall, it is a very solid figure. If you haven't owned a Flashpoint Batman yet, regardless of if it's 6-inch or not, I would recommend picking this one up. It is a Target exclusive. I don't know how hard it is to get. I found only one at one of my local Targets lately. Hopefully, they'll restock and eventually make more if they're harder to get. But from what I've seen, they're relatively not that hard to find. So try your luck at your local Target or try it at Target online. So thank you guys very much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Comment down below what you think about the figure, what you think about the review. Leave a like, share amongst your friends, and I will see you guys later.